everyone, it's Jessica with Pretty Presets, and I wanted to do just a quick video that shows you how I edited this image that I posted in the Facebook group yesterday. This picture is of my two kids playing in our teepee in our living room. You see my daughter here, and then my son is actually hiding back there. You kind of see his legs. But anyways, in this picture, when I posted it yesterday in the group, I got a lot of questions about how I use radial filters. And so for this particular video, I want to focus how I edit using the radial filters. And so I'll just kind of quickly show you the presets that I use and the hand edits that I did, but then really focus a lot of the time on how I use radial filters. And so in the straight out of camera, you can see that the image is just a little bit underexposed and the white balance is off. It's just a little bit too warm. And so my initial edits that I did, I went over and I selected a quick clean and center light from Clean and Creative Advanced Workflow. Those are two presets I use a lot when editing just a clean edit. They're kind of my go-tos for that. And so in addition to those two presets, I also increased my vibrance, just kind of brightening up the colors a little bit. I reduced the blacks a little bit more, and then I also increased clarity. Usually for portraits or pictures of kids, I usually reduce my clarity, but because the shot, my daughter's not looking at the camera and she's kind of further away, increasing the clarity actually worked really well. And so those are some of the edits that I did. I also adjusted the white balance. I adjusted the temperature. And so in the initial shot, in the straight out of camera, you can see, like I said, that it's too warm, and so I think the number was initially around 4400. So whenever I'm trying to figure out how to adjust these sliders with white balance, a lot of people do different things, but what I do is I look at the image and I ask myself, what color do I see? So in this I see, like I said, a lot of warm colors, a lot of yellows and oranges, and so to fix that in Lightroom, you're just going to move this slider in the opposite direction of the color you're seeing. And so because I'm seeing a lot of the yellows and oranges or the warmer colors, I'm going to move the slider in the blue direction, therefore cooling off the image. And so that's what I did. Over here in this picture has all of my editing done with the exception of my radial filters. So you have my presets, my hand edits, adjusting the temperature, and this is kind of the end result. So this picture does not have any radial filters on it, and a lot of people might think that this looks, this looks fine, this looks great, but I know what my wall color is, and this wall color is still initially too warm for what my wall color actually is. And I also want to brighten up my daughter a little bit more, and so those are two things that I can do really easily with radial filters. So with using a radial filter to kind of adjust the white balance, I'm choosing that direction as opposed to continuing to adjust these sliders simply because I love the skin tone that my daughter has. I feel like it's the perfect skin tone. And so to keep adjusting these sliders, you are going to be adjusting the white balance for the overall image, the walls and the skin tones. And so if I want to just adjust the white balance of the walls, you can achieve that with radial filters or graduated filters. And so for this edit, I used radial filters. So I want to show you how I did that. I went over and I clicked on the radial filter button, and I clicked on temperature, and that is going to initially just pull up whatever you usually use. And so for this, I'm going to reduce the temperature a little bit more into the cool direction. So I have it on a -16, and that's just going to cool off the walls even more so than we did in just the initial editing. And so I'm going to make sure this box is not checked, and that is just going to simply apply your settings to everything outside of your radial circle. So if I turn on my mask overlay, I can see where this is being applied. So this temperature change is being applied to everything outside of this circle because I have this unchecked. If I check the box, it would apply to everything within the circle. And so because I want it just on the walls, I'm going to uncheck that box. And so now I'm just going to adjust my radial circle to get it to where I want it. You can adjust it, you can tilt it, you can do all kinds of things with it. And so I'm just going to move it to about right there. So that's being applied to just the walls and not the TP and not my daughter. I think in my edit I also increased the highlights a little bit just to brighten it up a little bit more. And so here you see how I've cooled off the walls without having to adjust my daughter's skin tone anymore. And so I really like the way that looks. One last thing that I did was I also added an inverted radial filter to brighten up my daughter just a tad more, just to make her pop. Whenever I'm brightening people, I tend to use shadows over exposure. I just think it looks a little bit more natural. I usually increase them to about 13, 15 or so, sometimes a little bit more depending on the image. I'm going to select Invert Mask, and that's going to apply to everything within the circle. So here I'm applying, just increasing the shadows or brightening those shadows over my daughter. And you can just see how that helps her to just pop just a little bit more, and that really makes a big difference. And so those are just my edits, and that's how I achieved this final edit. And like you can see, those radial filters really are, they can really make a big difference, and they're really, really fun and easy to use once you get the hang of them. So you can just see in the before and after just what a big difference presets and those radial filters can really do in getting the look that you want. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave those in the comments. Hope you guys have a great day.